It's time to build our card component. A card component is essentially this right here. It renders all these different coffee stores. Each coffee store is using a card component internally to render its content on the page. A card component also needs to be configurable because the title and the image, as well as when you click on it, the link as well is unique to that specific store. So we do need to build in those three properties in the component. At the same time, the card component also needs to take advantage of the Next.js link component just so that we can route to it and change the URL. Alright, let's go ahead and build our card component. Now, first thing, let's go to the components directory and create a new file called as card.js. And this would be our React component. And second, a card.module.css. And this would be the CSS module file for the card component. So let's go ahead and create a basic card component and render it on the page. So this will be a functional component. Let's return card component right here, and we can export it by default over here. All right, now that we have done that, let's go to the pages directory to the home page component and import it right underneath the image. All right, and let's import it just like banner. So let's copy this. And instead of banner, we should say card. All right, let's go and check it out in the browser. Now in our app, there you go. Card component is rendered right here. Now let's go ahead and make the card component more configurable so that it has a title, an image, and also a link. All right, so let's go to the card.js file and make the card component more configurable. So a card component would need three things. One is the header. That is the name of the coffee store. So we need an h2 for that. And let's take in props right here. And let's say props.name, for example, which will be the name of the coffee store itself as we see in our app. Next, we also need a image component from Next.js because we would be showing the image of our app over there. That is image of a coffee store. So we also need to take in maybe a image or maybe img URL. And let's also give it a width and height of 260. And 160. Lastly, let's also wrap this card component in a link as well because we want the card component to link to a specific URL. So let's also wrap it up with an anchor tag because we need that for semantic reasons. All right, now that we have done all of this, let's also add a href so that we can route to a specific page. And that could also be a prop, which could just be href. All right, now that we have built all of this, let's pass it in. Let's pass in all these different properties. So we have a name, which could be for now Dark Horse Coffee. Don't need these brackets over here. Then we need an href. And this one, let's just point it to one of the images that we have over here in the static folder. So we can just say hero image.png for now. And let's also pass in the third property, which is we have the name, href, and the image URL. Whoops, so this should be an image URL. And we also need an href. And here we can say that it will go to coffee store / Dark Horse Coffee. And since coffee store is a coffee store / the name is a dynamic URL, so we can add in whatever name we like. All right, now that we have configured it, let's check it out in the browser. And whoops, we have not imported the components necessary in card. So let's do that. So the link component that we imported needs to come from next link. Similarly, the image component that we used here also needs to come from next image. All right. Now let's go ahead and check it out in the browser. Sweet. We do see the title, and if you click on it, it does take us to a dynamic URL, but we don't see the background image. So let's see why is that. And if you go to the index page, and that's because the URL should be static/hero image. If I go back, sweet. We can see an image right here. This is a basic version of a cart component. It doesn't have necessarily any styling. And next, let's go ahead and add styling for our cart component.